What are some things you see that are standard medications a lot of people take that with some supplements that are out there that could probably make a difference in it? And now, Escaping the Drift, the show designed to get you from where you are to where you want to be. I'm John Gafford, and I have a knack for getting extraordinary achievers to drop their secrets to help you on a path to greatness. So stop drifting along, escape the drift, and it's time to start right now. Back again for another episode of your podcast to get you from where you are to where you want to be, man. And I got to tell you, it doesn't matter where you're going financially. It doesn't matter because the cemetery is full of rich people. What you need to be worried about is your health. And it's something that I have been uniquely kind of married to for the last 20 years. And it's a story I'm going to talk about that happened with my wife. And today we got somebody that is, I call him biohacking expert, call him one of the top people in his field as far as getting you right at a cellular level. We're not going to talk about lifted weights. I don't know, maybe we will, but we're going to talk about how your body functions at a cellular level and how to get the most out of your health, therefore getting the most out of your life. This is the author of this awesome looking book called How to Win at Modern Wellness. Welcome to the program. This is Samuel Tejada. Samuel, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me here.
Glad to have you, man. I love talking about biohacking. I love talking. It's funny. The podcast I was just on, which is about real estate and something else, we actually talked a little about biohacking, which I thought was very interesting. Awesome. But you are a guy that is, I'm going to call you wrote an Amazon bestseller. You are on, there's a council of people across the country, including Gary Brecka, including these people, and you sit on that council. Yeah. So I think we can call you an expert. I think that's fair.
That's what people call me. You know, I didn't give myself that name, but yeah, I guess I'm a health and wellness expert.
Well, that's good. There's a couple names out there people call me that I definitely didn't give myself either. So I can appreciate that, which is good. Talk to me about your journey to this. So how did you get into this? How did this start for you?
Yeah, so I'm a retired firefighter paramedic. So I did 12 years out on the road, South Florida, Fort Lauderdale to be exact. Mm-hmm. And like most firemen, we work 24 hours on and we're off for 48 hours. So most of us, we supplement our income on our days off, doing something else. Guys have landscaping businesses and, working at the hospital, whatever it is. I got into the health and wellness field early on. I started at the fire department when I was 20. I retired at age 32. I'm 37 now. Mm-hmm. And I started working with a company, actually headquartered based out of Las Vegas, called Senegenics.
So, I know the company.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So I was working directly with their chief medical officer, Dr. Robert Willix.
Is he the ripped old guys that used to be in the magazine ads on the planes?
Dr. Life.
Okay, yeah.
But Dr. Willix was pretty ripped too.
Okay, got it.
He was old. He passed away about 5 years ago, unfortunately, at the age of 80. And so Dr. Willix was based out of South Florida in Boca Raton, and he was their main doctor. He would train all the other doctors. So I was, basically positioned with him, and I started just learning tons of stuff. You're talking about a guy who was a former heart surgeon who got so fed up with today's medical system, where he says, you know what? I don't want to perform heart surgery anymore. I want to prevent people from having to be on the operating table getting heart surgery. So he was world renowned, would teach doctors from all over the world. And some of the stuff that he was talking about, man, if he didn't have that heart surgery background as an MD, would definitely, a lot of people would be thinking he's selling snake oil.
A little out there.
Yeah. But, just started learning tons of stuff. Now, Senegenics back then was, catered to some of the most affluent people on the globe.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
Yeah. We had about 350 of those patients in South Florida. And what I did, I'd actually drive around every 3 months to the person's home, these big mansions, and draw their blood. So I did that for about 8 years. And for 8 years, I built some strong relationships with these very affluent individuals in South Florida. And, a lot of these people, they had homes everywhere, right? California, Colorado, and also in Florida. And they would start telling me, it's like, hey, Sam, I get these vitamin drips back in Cali, in my house in Cali, and the guy who comes is a firefighter paramedic. Mm-hmm. So when I had like the 5th patient tell me this, I was like, man, you know what? I should probably look into this.
I got to figure out this IV drip thing.
Right? So I started going online, researching what was potentially going to be my competitors, which now most of them are my customers. And I saw what they were doing. I said, you know what, I can do that and I can do it better. And then that's where it just started.
What did you see that they were doing that you thought you could do better?
You know, the environment, the experience. A lot of the doctors were doing it out of the typical clinical setting. So what I said, you know, this has to be something a little bit more attractive. It has to have like a spa feel to it. It has to be like, this is going to be my spa day to take care of my health. And that's what I did. I created it into a very relaxed setting, you know, good environment, very zen. You go in there and you don't feel like you're going to a doctor's office, even though we're all clinically based, you know, everything we're doing, but it's just a whole different feel.
So that was the name of that business. That's the drip place, Liquivita? Liquivita. That's
so those are our wellness centers. Now we started with IV.
How many wellness centers do you have at Liquivita now?
So we've sold 37 total now. More than half are open. We're actively franchising throughout the nation. So yeah, we're rocking.
Love that. So what services are you offering at Liquivita? And no, if you're listening to this right now, you're like, this is a damn infomercial. I swear to God, it's not. I promise it's not. This is interesting to me. So stop it. Stop it. We're not doing an infomercial. I'm just curious. So anyway, what services do you provide at Liquivita? Because I want to know.
So we have 5 pillars that we focus on for you to optimize your health.
Okay.
So we have our wellness side, which we're doing the comprehensive blood analysis. We're doing all of the different diagnostic testing that we do as well. Hormone optimization goes under that wellness section, the IV drips as well too. We have our weight loss division where, you know, we focus with different.
That's gotten a little busier in the last year and a half.
Very busy, especially with all the GLP-1 drugs.
Yeah.
Which we've seen tremendous results with that. You know? So we got our weight loss division. We have our beauty division where we do a lot of medical aesthetics, the Botox, the fillers, body contouring. And then we have our regenerative medicine division where we work with a lot of professional athletes. We work with people with injuries to regenerate tissue and fix injuries and stuff. And then last but not least, we have our sexual health division, which is pretty important.
So can you get a lot of these services done at the same time?
Yeah, you can actually.
The reason I say this, and I have a dream. Would you like to hear my dream?
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Not really my dream, right? And somebody, look, you can steal this because I'm never going to do it. It's just a random thing that I came up with one day to say. So my wife is like a lot of women. I got to go get my nails done. I got to go get my hair done. I got to go get my lashes done. I got to go get this done. And all of this shit takes so much time, right? It's crazy. So I have a concept I want to come up with where you do beauty like a NASCAR pit stop. Where like literally it's called wham, glam, thank you, ma'am. Where they throw them up in a chair and you brought somebody and she's laughing because she knows you would go to this if it was good, where you can get up in the chair and they hit the eyelashes, they hit the hair extensions, they hit the nails, they hit the feet, they hit it all at one time. And like you got like a team working on you and then you're out of there in like an hour. You would get how much? Okay. She's not on the podcast right now, but I'm just going to get some fingers held up. How much more would you pay for those services if you could get them all done at the same time and say, get your life back? Twice? Twice. Yeah, you pay twice as much. Steal this. I literally own that URL. Wham, glam, thank you, ma'am. I'll sell you the URL. Just get the business over so I get my wife back on my days off where she's not running around seeing 85 people beautifying herself. So can you do a lot of these services at the same time at your place?
We can, and we do.
Right, because here's the thing. A lot of these people that can do this or afford to do this are also probably very concerned about time. Right? Which is my thing, right? One of the things you said already that I loved was you would come to, you go to their house and take the blood. Yeah. Which I thought was
good. Which we still do that, right? And even like the IV drips and some of our other services, we have our concierge services where we'll actually go to your office, to your home, wherever you're at. We'll send somebody out.
Well, I find it really interesting that we've gone from Cenogenics, which was incredibly expensive.
It was.
And really, I think now, are they still in business now or no?
They are.
That was a lot of just HGH and TRT, correct?
It was.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they didn't really adapt to the times with a lot of the new, peptides, biohacking stuff. They wanted it kind of like just stay in that lane.
Yep.
Which now they're trying to get in the lane that everybody else is.
Little late. But things have gotten so much more affordable. I mean, obviously, not that much more affordable, but it's crazy how much some of this stuff still costs.
Yeah.
But I think you've seen this rush, and I don't know, you tell me, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Do you think it was now that Gary Brecka has become so famous on social media, I think Dana White did more for his company than one solo person did for anybody's company in the history of companies. But do you think this business and wellness and peptides and ongoing hormone replacement management, do you think that has gotten bigger since Gary Brecka got bigger? Or do you think that it was already getting big and Gary kind of fell into the niche?
I think it definitely fed into bringing more awareness for the industry, but there are a lot of other biohackers out there that are doing a great job, that are bringing a lot of science behind it as well too. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, yes, it definitely did feed into it because, Gary Brecka is big on the social media side. So it brought a heck of a lot more awareness. Traditionally, when you look at the biohacking space and looking at medical doctors, they're great medical doctors, but when it comes to the business side or marketing side, they just didn't have it.
Yeah.
Now with Gary Brecka, he was around way before 10X. Grant Cardone came in as a patient and then, loved his experience where he says, we got to bring this to the world.
Yep.
Now Grant Cardone,
he's going to make money. Oh yeah. Grant's going to make money, everything he does.
He's going to put you out there.
Yeah.
He's going to make you famous. So, going into that platform, into that system, he blew Gary Brecka up.
Yeah.
So
little too fast, if you ask me. And we've talked about it on the podcast. I'm not going to hate on what 10X Health does. I personally, the experience that I had, if you want to go back and find that episode, you can. It's called The Truth About 10X Health, where I talk about, I don't really think it's bad to say that about them as people or humans. I just think that their growth outpaced their ability to fulfill.
Yeah.
Is what my ending was.
Well, the one thing I'll say about that is they know it.
Yeah.
They might not speak about it publicly, but they know it. And being in the industry and connecting with a lot of people, including them, they've made a lot of adjustments. They've recently have done some strategic partnerships with Revive, which Revive is in 47 different countries. Sarah Lomas is the CEO. They have a wonderful lab out of Austria where now they're actually able to move at a quicker pace. So, and these are recent things that have occurred.
Well, good.
But they're making certain adjustments.
But I think the reason I loved having you on, and I want to have anybody on, I mean, here locally, my guy, Dr. John Beadle, and then you, the reason I like having other people on is to let people know that this is not, this science and these techniques and is not exclusive to that product, right? There's a lot of great people, including yourself, that are experts in this, that you can get this type of treatment. There's a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
So you need to become more interested in the treatment than you do in the company.
I agree. So my book, How to Win in Modern Wellness, as you can see, there's several different faces.
Yeah, there's lots.
So what I did when I first got into the industry, it was a very cutthroat mentality industry where the competition just like bashed whoever your competitors were. Mm-hmm. I took a different approach. I said, you know what? If we're all here chanting that we want to change the course of medicine, we got to create one strong voice. We can't be against each other. If not, Big Pharma's going to win. You know? That's already a difficult battle, know? So what I did, I built relationships with all my competitors. So on that cover, you have owners of some of the top companies around the globe that I gave each of them a chapter in the book. And we're all talking about how we're winning together in the world of modern wellness.
I think that one of the big political things that I think is a problem in this country is I don't think Big Pharma should be allowed to buy advertising on cable news channels. I don't think Big Pharma should be allowed to make political donations. And I don't think I think you should get Big Pharma out of politics. I think there's way too many decisions being made about things that are based on finances.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
I mean, it's funny. I've never seen a peptide that can possibly change your health dramatically advertised on Fox News. You know what I mean? I've never seen that. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So
until they get their hands on it.
Well, yeah, until they can lop that out, because there's a lot more money in maintaining the problem than there is in fixing it.
Right.
What do you see as you meet with people or you start to see these tests? What are some of the things? I know you can't generalize everyone's health, but where you see are the places where people seem to have the biggest gaps?
Well, there's a lot of deficiencies. The first deficiency that I would say is vitamin D, right? Vitamin D3. Everyone's deficient in it. We don't live in the caveman days. We're not running outside butt naked where we can get our vitamin D from the sun. vitamin D is crucial. It's good for immune system, wards off 6 different type of tumors. There's a lot of benefits. It upregulates all of your hormones. We're fully clothed and we're inside all day. So we don't get vitamin D3. So that's something that I would say out of the tens of thousands that we do on a monthly basis of blood work, about 95% of people are deficient in vitamin D3.
Always down in the D3. I take a D3 K3 supplement, I think it is. K2. D3 K2 supplement.
Very important. Good that you brought that up, because you could take D3, but the K2 helps transport the D3 where it needs to go. Mm-hmm. It helps, also your calcium. You don't want calcium in your body to go in the wrong places. You don't want to have calcification in your arteries and, in your heart and stuff. So taking D3, you want to make sure you're taking the K2 also.
Well, I think something else that I think, another reason I think people should get these tests done and have blood work done and have tests done and meet with somebody like you is, for example, I'll talk about my own personal experience. I have 2 parents that were both type 2 diabetic. My mom is still around, my dad is not, but they're both diabetic. So diabetes runs in my family. So, I'm not a person that is diabetic, but my sugar was maybe a little high on some of my blood tests. So rather than go on metformin or some of the other, pharmaceutical grade stuff, I started taking berberine.
Oh, nice.
And it sorted it completely out.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have any issues with any of that stuff because I don't know if the NAC is for it as well. You can tell me.
The NAC, it can help. It's a good combination.
Yeah. I take the NAC and the berberine twice a day. And I haven't had it, but that's like, I'm 52 and I'm on no prescription medicine at all. Like stuff you do, yes, but like I don't take any blood thinners, I don't take any heart medicine, I don't take cholesterol medicine, I don't take any of that stuff.
It's more supplemental.
I'm just on supplements. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's just it. So what are some things that you see that people are on medications for that you genuinely feel they could probably, and again, talk to your doctor, don't go kill yourself based on what I'm saying, but what are some things you see that are standard medications a lot of people take that with some supplements that are out there that could probably make a difference in it?
Yeah. So when you're looking at medications that people are taking that, a lot of these allopathic physicians are prescribing, nonstop, you got blood pressure medications. Mm-hmm. You got different statins, right? You got cholesterol medications. And a lot of this stuff, if you just take a few steps to change your lifestyle, you can avoid taking a lot of these medications. Mm-hmm. And these medications, you got to understand what you're doing is you're changing something in your body chemically.
Yeah.
Right? By introducing that medication. So when you do that, it causes a whole nother set of issues to develop. And that's what people kind of miss out on. And a lot of physicians in the allopathic world, they don't speak about it. They don't speak about how this will actually disrupt your body's biochemistry and cause a whole nother slew of issues as well.
Well, I think now there's talk that like the cholesterol medicine does have an influencing feature towards dementia later in life. Like if that's a problem, like if you're prone to dementia or Alzheimer's and you start taking like Lipitor, it's gonna accelerate things for you.
Right. It's in all reality, it's basically introducing a new toxin into your body.
Well, you're pulling levers. So like you pull this one down and it might, when you pull this lever, another one somewhere else is going to go up. And that's how it works. So when I get my say I get blood work down, what are some things, again, we talked about the D, which is fine. But in men, obviously, we'll talk about that specifically because that's me. Anyway, by the definition that we currently go by in America, I guess that's me. So like the TRT stuff, how many of your clients, like what age do you see that a lot of men are starting to need that TRT?
So interesting question, right? And one of the things that we're seeing is when it comes to hormone optimization and looking at people's hormone levels, specifically men, we're starting to see men come in at a younger age with hormone issues, right? And that's not good. That means there's stuff in our environment that's causing that, or things that you're ingesting, like processed foods or foods that are injected with hormones that are causing this. Mm-hmm. Like back in the day, when you go 15, 20 years ago and you see a 20-year-old come in with low testosterone, usually you kind of knew what it was. It was somebody who's like taking anabolics recreationally and kind of messed themselves up. And then you just got to put them through like a post-cycle therapy to boost them back up. But now you got people who, they weren't doing bodybuilding. And all of a sudden they're coming in with all kinds of hormone issues. They're coming in with gynecomastia, basically, breasts that they're growing, from their estrogen levels being so high. So there's stuff out there that's just really affecting people's health.
Yeah, man boobs, the official clinical term for that.
Yeah, I was going to say something else.
I know what you were going to say.
Yeah.
I know what you were going to say. I cleaned it up a little bit for you.
It starts with the B and the two words, BT.
We're there. So that's funny. When you do the TRT, now, how do you recommend it being done? Do you recommend it doing one big dose a week or splitting it up over multiple doses throughout the week?
So Dr. Willix, who was the chief medical officer, Centogenics, he was a big fan of splitting the dose twice a week.
Okay.
And the reason being is he didn't like to create big spikes where you're playing this roller coaster game. You do the big spikes and then you go down and then up, because when you look at, like, for example, testosterone cypionate, it has a lifespan of like about 7 days. So you could technically inject once a week, but you're getting those big spikes. So you don't want that, because remember, when you take testosterone goes hand in hand with estrogen. So when your testosterone goes up, your estrogen goes up. And the last thing you want to do is start aromatizing where your estrogen keeps on going too high. Yeah. Because then it's going to cause a lot of these issues with the gynecomastia, acne, and everything else. So and the problem here is when your testosterone goes up, right, and your estrogen goes up, when your testosterone tanks, your estrogen doesn't tank. Yeah. Your estrogen stays up there. So then that's where
and
we
then you're crying at Hallmark commercials. I'm just kidding.
You're
just
kidding.
Just
no
kidding.
Reason, exactly. So, but then then at that point, now you got to put your patients on aromatase inhibitors like an anastrozole or something to bring the estrogen down. And our goal is to try to stay away from as many pharmaceuticals as possible. Try to do things more on a naturopathic, holistic approach if possible.
Yeah, I do take an anastrozole once a week. I do take that, and it's funny when I switch because it's odd because I used to go to a place here in town, right? And when I switched to my new guy that I use, now the stuff comes to my house.
Okay,
which is crazy because I'm the guy that's like doesn't like needles. Like terrified of needles. And now I can totally give myself a shot, which to me is still very strange that I can do this. It's very weird to me that I can do it. Just so you know, I take a truckload of supplements based on my blood, get that checked every 90 days, check everything out, make sure it's going there. And then I'm on 1,000 milligrams of testosterone, which I split into 2 shots once a week, 500 milligrams.
100 milligrams?
Whatever it is. But one on the syringe. Yeah. I don't know. Sam, I'm not a medical professional. I go to the one. But I actually go to the 5 on the big syringe. So whatever that is. So 5 twice a week.
Okay. Yep.
So once on this day, once on that day. And then they put me on a peptide called tesamorelin.
Oh, great stuff. I'm
which
on
is
it right now.
Yeah. Which, dude, you want to think, you want to get over your fear of giving yourself a shot? Go on that. Because you have to give yourself a shot every day in the damn stomach.
In the stomach. Yeah. It's a small little needle.
But it's still a shot.
It is,
in your stomach every day, which is a little.
How long have you been taking that one?
Been on tesamorelin now for about 4 weeks. Not long.
4 weeks. Okay.
4 weeks.
So once you get to like about 3 to 4 months, you'll start to really see it.
So
start shredding you.
But how long should you cycle on and off of it? Because I don't have it in front of me.
So the tesamorelin, you can actually be on that one long term.
Just stay on it.
Yeah, and you actually should be, because when you look at growth hormone releasing peptides, they don't work quickly like that, but to get the results that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right. So that one is going to be a little bit more long term. Tesamorelin, the issue with that is it's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap. Luckily, I'm not poor, but it's not it's not cheap.
But the effectiveness of it is fantastic, and it's one of the few peptides that is FDA approved and it's commercially available as well too. So there's a lot of data to back up tesamorelin.
So doing that, so I'm hoping, because you're right, it ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Which is good. It was funny traveling across Europe. I'm freaking out trying to keep this thing cold. Like it's like everywhere we go, I'm like, I gotta keep this cold. Yeah. Trying to freak out, get that done. But that's kind of my regiment right now. Now, we talked a little bit about my office before this started, and I thought this was really interesting because I've talked about this on the show, but my wife, 20 years ago, when we randomly just took the 23andMe thing, because everybody was, 23andMe, see what, you'll see what your heritage is, blah, 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 whatever it is, see how much German you have in you, who knows? But we took this thing and it came back, and she has 4 copies of, I don't want to butcher it, I think it's the APO4 gene or whatever it is. It's the same gene that, if you just saw Christopher Helmsworth came out, and having 2 copies of this one particular gene indicator is a very high indicator of getting Alzheimer's. And, my wife freaked out. And as well, she probably should have. This is science-based result. It is what it is. And that 23andMe 20 years ago has changed everything that we do, or everything she does, going forward. And it's been a constant research of, no aluminum in the deodorant, and not cooking on aluminum pans, and anything she can do to keep heavy metals out of her, and taking all of these supplements that are, from where we're at right now, good for what we're doing. And,
Right.
and I take probably in the morning, I probably take 24 pills of supplements. She's probably throughout the course of the day in the 40s. She takes a lot of supplements.
Wow.
But you had mentioned that now you guys have a test about some different tests that you can offer folks to look for things that could cause problems with that. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do is we're big into toxins. A lot of our doctors, they truly believe that the cause of disease and a lot of the chronic illnesses that we see today is all based off of toxins.
Mm-hmm.
Things that we get exposed through food, environment, things that we could try to avoid, but we can't get rid of them completely. So the test that we do, we send it off to Germany, and we test for over 900 different toxins. Like, honestly, I didn't even know 900 different toxins existed.
Dude, everything is trying to kill us. Everything is trying, dude, everything.
Pretty much, right? So this test tests the toxins, but it doesn't just test the toxin. It'll actually show the DNA adduct, right, in the gene that it's connected to, potentially causing a change in gene expression, right? So, I was saying earlier, there's different genes that your body has that have to be either on or off, right? We have genes in our body that are called tumor suppressing genes that should always be on, meaning that if a tumor starts to grow, right, your gene suppressor, your suppressing genes would help suppress that tumor so it doesn't grow, become cancerous, and then you die or something.
Sure.
So if there's a toxin that turns that gene off, then if a tumor starts to develop,
there's nothing there to stop it.
There's nothing there to stop it. So same thing with the genes that are responsible for Alzheimer's, for Parkinson's. When you get exposed to certain toxins and you're not able to detoxify your body from those toxins, then that's where disease starts to develop.
Well, that's the problem with people that develop Alzheimer's, is they can't process metals out of their bodies.
Right.
It eventually builds up to the point where it's an issue, which is why, if you're wondering why everything has to have no aluminum in it, that's why. Because my wife with those two genes has an issue processing metals. Right. She's going to live to be 300 years old. My wife's so healthy, it's crazy. It's nuts. But the point becomes, what are things you think you can avoid to try to avoid getting toxins in the first place? What would you avoid?
So there's a lot of things that you can avoid. For example, don't drink out of plastic bottles, right? When you talk about water, try to drink out of glass bottles if you can.
They're both two people in the studio right now. Both of them have glass bottles of water right now. So he's definitely doing what he preaches, what he says. As I'm sitting back here with 3 bottles of plastic, killing myself slowly.
But the most importantly, yes, you make certain decisions. Like at home, if you're going to be heating up food, don't heat it up in plastic, right? Heat it up in a glass container or something else. Just try to stay away from.
So you don't think there's anything such thing as a safe plastic?
There's like BPA free plastic and stuff, but I would try to stay away from plastic, because
just totally.
Even if they slap that mark on there, like how many times have we seen where people say, hey, this is organic, and then you find out it's not organic, the stuff is coming from China or something like that.
Yeah, how do you know?
So the safest route is not to drink out of plastic or eat out of plastic. Try to, avoid that. Other things like, your home environment. How's the air quality? Is there mold in your air ducts and stuff? Like, do a quality control test at least once a year, clean it out, have a nice HEPA filter, avoid things like mold and stuff. Those are toxins that can be very toxic to your body. So the thing is we can't avoid everything. So most importantly is, how do you detoxify your body, and how do you enhance
better question
detox pathways? So that's going to be the things that you put into your body, right? I did
a very expensive liver detox thing. And it was like, I had to drink this. It was really expensive. It was like $200, and I had to do it every day for like a month. And you had to drink this really gross liquid and then eat these charcoal pills. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Charcoal, activated charcoal.
Yeah. Yes. It was gross. I don't know if it did anything.
It works.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll trust you. Yeah. I was told, because I showed you those results earlier about my liver thing, and my new biohacker guy was like, well, just do this just to make sure everything's okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
So there's a master antioxidant that your body naturally produces. And just like anything else, as we age, it starts to decrease your natural production. It's called glutathione. So glutathione is the master antioxidant. It will detoxify your body.
And this is something, can you take this? Is this something you do in an IV with your place, or is this something you get in a pill form?
So we do the IV ones.
Okay.
That's going to be a little bit more of the aggressive route, right? So someone with high liver enzymes. I've worked with bodybuilders and stuff that, obviously kind of abuse their body.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing that brings those liver enzymes down very quickly. There's other things that you can do orally. You can do glutathione orally. They have a liposomal one that gets absorbed by the mucous membranes, which is pretty good. And then we do the intramuscular injection ones as well too. But if you want to go more the aggressive dose, there's, a lot of IV clinics that offer it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What is the number one IV thing that you guys are giving people at your clinics?
So it would be more of like the wellness pack. The wellness pack consists of all the different B vitamins, different minerals that your body needs. Your body has 35 vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that it utilizes for it to function on a day-to-day basis. So that's going to be more on the wellness side. People are not doing it because they're sick. They're doing it more to just maintain their health.
Preventive.
Yeah, preventive.
Right, which is the same reason you take supplements every day.
Right.
What supplements do you take every day? Let's hear it.
So, all right. So I'm big into cognitive health.
Okay, yeah.
Right? I want my brain to be sharp as a
so like do you take nootropins? Or?
I have certain nootropics
okay.
that I take. So the main one that I take, it's called a Synapsins nasal spray.
Right. Synapsins nasal. I'm going to listen back. I was going to take notes, but I'll listen back to this later.
Yeah, Synapsins nasal spray.
Okay.
And the way I found out about this nasal spray was Dr. Willix, who was the chief medical officer from Centogenics. Huh? And I saw him prescribing this to a lot of very affluent CEOs. So I asked him, I was like, Doc, what is this? What are you prescribing? You don't want to know. I said, no, I want to know because I know who these guys are. And I know what you do on
the ballers are getting it.
So I said, well, if I tell you, you got to take it. I said, all right. Write the prescription.
Yeah.
So what it is, Synapsins has NR, which NR is a precursor to NAD. So it opens up the pathways for NAD. It has RG3, which is the most potent extract of ginseng. It's pharmaceutical grade.
Okay.
And then it has the methylated version of B12. So when I first took it, this was about 5 years ago, and I take it every single morning. When I first took it, everything was in high definition. I could hear better, see better, speak better. Everything was on point.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
I'm in.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I'm in.
Sign me up.
Sign me up.
So I do that. I'm big into doing my bulletproof coffee. I do the formula, the bulletproof formula, where I put the Kerrygold grass-fed butter.
My wife does the same thing.
I put the heavy whipping cream, no sugar, And then I put Dave Asprey's bulletproof brain octane oil. It's that MCT oil. Mm-hmm. And that also gets my brain firing. So I start off my day with that.
Wired in with that.
And then I got my other stuff. I do my NAD.
I do the NAD. I do what's it called? Not glucosamine. Glucosamine, maybe? Is
glucosamine?
That it? No, not glucosamine. That's on days I left. I do take that. This is I needed some spray today, man. I'm scrambling. I normally don't do two podcasts in a day. This is my second one for today. So you're getting the remainder of what I got. So
good.
No, I take the NAD, the powder under the tongue.
Oh, you do the powder one. Okay.
We do the powder one under the tongue. And then we do, I cannot remember. It'll come to me in a minute. There's something that goes with that we take orally. And I don't remember what it is. I don't know. Something.
We'll figure it out.
No, but the good news is that the reason it's not that I'm dumb or I'm fried today. It's that we started doing the packages every day because we take so many supplements.
Right.
So some people like meal prep. Like I pill prep. We've got the packages with the vacuum seal them.
Okay.
So literally I can just grab a bag of stuff instead of 50 bottles every morning and do that. So now everything's prepped out. So
that's the way to do it though.
I love it.
So that preparation, that makes you successful versus not successful when it comes to your health and wellness.
Yeah.
Being able to prep, because at that point now it becomes easier. You just grab it, versus having to open up every single bottle and this and then measure it out. Like you got to get to a point where you're like not thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know,
I just grab the packs now. I literally don't even think about it. I've done that. I've portioned out everything. I portion out the green drink powder. I portion out even though it'd be easy just to grab a scoop of it, I still like it in little bags. Because when I travel, I can just grab green drink, pre-workout, here's the pills, here's the afternoon pills, and I'm gone. Right? Like we were just in Europe. I had one giant like freezer Ziploc bag that was just full of little individual packs, which got me some looks at customs, especially when you got another one's got syringes in it and vials. It's like, promise I have a prescription for all of this stuff. It's fine. This is just whatever. But it'll get you some looks.
Because I'm always like, man, it's just going to be one day TSA is going to come and pull me off the airplane. Yeah. You know, it's like, what is all this stuff?
Well, I had no idea. I had no clue. Like what was going to happen. I didn't know if this was like legal in like some of the countries we were going to. Oh, wow, I'm like, I could wind up in like a freaking Italian jail. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just cruising around. And, but no, I had no problems at all. It was easy. No problems whatsoever. So the book, when you wrote this, who are you really trying to talk to with this thing? Is it just everybody? Was there a specific person?
So yes, we can talk to everyone. So my primary goal behind that book is there's a lot of people in the medical field that are trying to leave the allopathic world, that are just sick and tired of working in the ER, you know, the day-to-day machine that they become working in traditional medicine. And a lot of them really want to take this more naturopathic, holistic approach to someone's health versus what we're so used to, which is more sick care. Yeah. Right. So ours is not sick care. It's well care. It's what we focus on. So there is, you know, like any business, there's a succeeding process. There's a lot of challenges that you're going to be met with. So for me, it was putting this book together with all of these sharp minds that started, you know, from scratch. All of them in the book. So I want people that want to make that change, that commitment, that switch from the allopathic world to understand that it's going to be okay. Yeah. Right? You're going to go through these growing pains. And this is how these group of individuals did it.
Because this comes off kind of like tools for titans for personal health. Like Tim Ferriss never claimed tools for titans was all him. This is input from everybody. From everybody on what they need to do. All right, well, let's do this because I always like to talk about this and the 3 levels of what you can do, right? Because I got people listening to this who are like, well, this all sounds really expensive. So let's talk about level 1. Here I am, level 1. I'm on the come up maybe. I'm grinding. Maybe I don't have a lot of extra money. What are some things I can do right now at that level 1 where I don't have the money to go to Synergetics, maybe even the level to go to your clinic, maybe the level to go to those things? What are some things I need to be doing right now at level 1 to do my health?
All right. Number 1 is free. You ready for it?
Yeah, here it is.
Education. Educate yourself. There's tons of good information that you can just find online by all of the big biohackers, not difficult to find, and just start educating yourself. Live a more healthy life, right? Avoid certain things, you know, intake other healthy things, what you're putting into your body, what you eat every single day. You know, what are you eating? So that's the first step. The first step is completely free. All you got to do is make the commitment to just start learning how to be healthy.
It seems like now you talk about intake right there for all our level 1 folks. It seems like it's a little bit of a segue, but it seems like now more than I've ever seen, alcohol is really getting bashed. Is putting alcohol in your body is a straight poison.
It is. It's a toxin.
Yeah. And I've just never seen it get bashed the way that it seems to be getting bashed right now. Yeah. Do you think that like, if you look at like my kids right now who are 14 and 16, but if you were to ask them, like, when are you going to start smoking cigarettes? They'd be like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, it's like the idea for them of smoking cigarettes is so ridiculously foreign, even though like my wife's mother smokes like a damn chimney. So they saw that, but the idea of them picking that habit up is so ridiculous because of how bad it is for you. Do you think in 30 years time, kids will look at alcohol the same way?
I think so. And the reason why I feel I actually had that mindset about that not too long ago, because I've been seeing a lot of the stuff that you've been seeing, that you're commenting on. And now you'll actually see, like in Miami, people will have on a Saturday, a big house party at a mansion, but it's all health and wellness, like biohacking. There's like cold plunge, there's music, there's a DJ, but there's no alcohol. Even us, we're doing it. We're doing wellness on the water. where people have the ability to rent out a big yacht that we partnered up with, huge yacht. And we'll have a chef on the yacht cooking healthy food, making all kinds of healthy juices. Once we get to the sandbar, there's kayaks. So you're doing extracurricular activities that are good for your health. You're moving your body. We got yoga, massage therapy, all kinds of stuff on the yacht. So what people are doing is they're trying to figure out things to do that don't consist of all of these bad habits that are going to affect your health negatively.
Yeah.
Because, like after a day of drinking, how do you feel the next day?
Terrible.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, terrible.
It's because those toxins have caused certain deficiencies. You depleted your body of electrolytes, of hydration, things that are essential for your body. So why not do things that are fun that you can still socialize and enjoy your time with your friends and family and everything else that doesn't put that negative effect on your body?
Well, I have a feeling too that what's made it easier for alcohol to get a bad rep is the fact with cannabis becoming so mainstream acceptable as it is. I mean, I remember when the dispensaries first came to Vegas, right? Coincided with a large casino getting remodeled here in town. And they spent $1 gazillion on this nightclub and they opened it. And this is all within, around the same time as the dispensary's opening. It all happened at the same time. They opened this giant nightclub and they were paying these acts like $1 million a night to come do their thing at this nightclub. And I knew people that worked there and they were like, we're in deep shit. And it was like, why? And it was like, because people aren't buying drinks.
Oh, wow.
They're coming in here with edibles that they're buying at the dispensary and we're making a cover charge and that's it. Like this is causing a problem. And I think that having that coincide with some of this stuff is a thing. Cause it's funny because I know that, and I don't want to say which one, I want to say who, because I don't know if they want this out there, but let's just say there's a couple of well-known fitness people that have programs that involve not drinking alcohol. And I know that those people smoke weed constantly.
Yeah. And what you'll see too, and a lot of wellness people do it, they'll microdose shrooms.
Yeah. Well, I think that too. I think that becoming more mainstream now, getting legalized in Washington. And I think you're going to continue to see that getting legalized. That's the next, as they call it, the green industry. I know some people in that industry that would never drink alcohol.
Right.
But have no issue taking and some of these are incredibly, this is not like a hippie in the back of a Grateful Dead bust. These are seriously processed, mushroom gummies that they've built companies around that are legit, expensive, very well done products.
Oh yeah.
So
I've had a lot of conversations about it.
Well, I was going to say, because so obviously that stuff has less of effect on your body, long-term toxin than alcohol.
There's a lot of benefits to the shrooms.
Yeah.
A lot. When you talk about creativity, about your brain firing off, in different ways where we could go into some deep conversations about.
Oh, dude, microdosing mushrooms. You'll never be more focused on what you're working on than when you're doing that. Incredibly focused. I am a guy that I'm a guy that when I meet very, very successful people, I tend to try to pick their brains about how they got where they are and what's important to them. And I was just talking a minute ago on the last podcast we did, I talked about Ari Rastegar, who is a guy that I know, they call him the Oracle of Austin, built $8 billion portfolio in like a handful of years. The guy's really, really, really good. And just in talking to him, what are the biggest, and they did an article on him in GQ for biohacking. Like, what is your personal thing? He's we're talking about this. He's fucking crazy about it. Like, he gets his blood checked like once every 10 days or some crazy thing. He's like, I have the blood of a 20-year-old. I'll show you my blood right now. He takes 100 supplements a day. And I asked him at one point, I said, what has the biggest effect on my health? He said, bar none, two things: transcendental meditation. So do that. And then hyperbaric chambers.
Oh, nice.
2.6. So obviously TM is a whole nother story. I did go do that. That was an interesting kind of deal. Guy has $1 billion worth of assets, tells me to do something, I'm going to go do it. But also I've heard from very well-known people that are good, like they're the microdose shrooms. Like some of the most successful CEOs that you know of, companies that you know of, do this every day.
Yeah. So listen, I haven't spoke about it publicly, and I have no problem doing so because of the field I'm in. I microdose shrooms.
Yeah.
Right. So, you got me on your podcast saying
there you go.
And some of the most creative things that I've come up with in business and some of the top strategies that I've developed were on shrooms.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable the creativity that comes out of my mind when I microdose.
Well, I think that just the rise in like ayahuasca and all of that stuff and that seeker's mentality, right?
I don't know if I could do the ayahuasca.
That's a little out there, man. I'm not, because
I got a few people that I know, and one of my business mentors has done it, and you start hearing about the out-of-body experience and the purging. I'm not there yet.
So here's my thing, dude. You got two choices with that stuff. You get to go to Peru in the jungles, some little shaman dude is going to whip this up, or what's worse is some backyard hippie is going to rip it up in Temecula. I mean, that doesn't sound good to me either, right? I'm like, both of these scenarios seem a little suspect.
But I tell you, I know a lot of shamans, and Dr. Willix was a shaman also. He actually studied in Peru, actually, with the natives in Peru.
There you go.
And he was big into the ayahuasca, and you would hear some of the people, like their experience going through it, their life completely changes after that in a positive way. Yeah.
I've never heard anybody. Now, of course, who's going to tell you the bad story, right? Nobody's going to be like, this happened and my life completely fell apart. Nobody's like, you've never heard that story. But I've never heard anybody say that they've gone and done that as a way to do this. And it's gone, and their life has not gone profoundly better. It just hasn't.
Yeah.
So let's talk about level 2. All right. So level 1, do ayahuasca, and no, don't do that. I'm just kidding. We're kidding. No, educate yourself and just do what you can. Level 2, which is where I can afford to spend some stuff on some services. Obviously, maybe not the most expensive of the stuff. What would probably be your level 2? I mean, let's talk about buying store-bought, because I know that there's a big debate within some of the folks that do this about buying your supplements from a place like Amazon and buying the pharmaceutical grade supplements. What says you about the importance of that?
So the level 2, where I'm going to go with the level 2 is, education was level 1. Level 2 is getting all of your personal health data, right? Quantifiable data that you can now understand your body. And yes, there can be an expense to that, and you can get very, very expensive running all kinds
level
of
2, we got some money for this. We got money.
Right. So we got money for level 2. So at minimum, you need to do a comprehensive blood analysis, understand what your deficiencies are and how your body can be better, right? Getting other data points, doing a body composition analysis, getting on a DEXA scan so you can see what your body's made up of, how much visceral fat you have, how much adipose fat you have, how much lean muscle you have. So then at least you have a starting point, a basis before you even start your health journey. Right. So the diagnostics and your personal health data is important. Having an Apple Watch, a Whoop, or like an Oura Ring. I wear my Oura Ring wherever I go.
On the Fitbit.
Or the Fitbit, right? So having that data to actually have, quantifiable data of what's happening with your body on a day-to-day basis, understand your sleep patterns, like how deep you go into your sleep, your REM cycle and everything else. For me, that's level 2, is spend the money to figure out what you need. Because now when you get that data, hey, you're not sleeping well. Okay, well, we can do things that don't cost any money to fix our sleep. Maybe, just you're not in the right environment. Maybe you need to do some meditation before you go to sleep or something, right? If you have certain deficiencies, maybe it's just eating a little bit healthier, avoiding things like alcohol or whatever if your liver enzymes are high. So, that would be level 2 for me, is spend your money on that.
I had an interesting philosophy when I was in Europe, because this was it. Even though I did catch COVID, and I had COVID the last part of the trip. Sorry if you were around me in London and now you're sick. My bad. I didn't know I had it until I got back. But anyway, how much do you think your environment or where you live, right, being walkable affects your overall health? And the reason I say that is because, like, we live here in Las Vegas, where you can't wait, dude. You incinerate if you walk outside. It's 118 degrees today, right? Yeah. So literally anywhere you go, you're going in a car for the most part. Right. Like my steps I get out a day are running laps in this office and then on a treadmill. That's where I get my mileage. But here I am in Europe every day when I have COVID, putting up 22,000 steps a day. Every day, because everywhere we were is immensely walkable. So I think you look at communities like New York City, where you don't get a car, you're on your feet. You take the train, you're walking, you go everywhere on foot. How much do you think being in a walkable environment like that is beneficial to your health?
Huge. It's extremely beneficial. You have to move your body.
Yeah.
You have to, right? it's statistically proven, right, that if you do at least 10,000 steps a day, you don't even have to go to the gym.
What?
But how many people actually do 10,000 steps a day?
Well, but you also can't 10,000 step. You're way out of a bad diet. You can't either. Yeah, that's my problem. I think sometimes is I try to step myself out of a bad diet, but you can't. You still got to work. No, I love that. I love that's my goal every day is 10,000 steps. On days when I lift, it's 10,000. On days when I don't, it's 12,000.
You know, there's other stuff that's statistically proven. A person who exercises, right, who still has bad habits, smokes and drinks, will outlive a person who doesn't have those bad habits who doesn't exercise.
So you're saying smoke on the treadmill?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, you're saying,
but you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I get it. I guess somebody's right now going, I knew I was right. I knew it. But turn this thing up to 2. I knew I was right. As long as I'm on the treadmill, I can do whatever I want. That's what he said.
They'll be breathing very quickly. So that's going to be instead of 1 pack a day, it'll probably be 2, right?
They're
burning through those cigarettes.
Breathing faster, exactly. So that's level 2. Let's go to level 3. So we went from, we had to stay home because we couldn't go to the club. Now we went to the club, but we can just go to the club. Now let's get some bottle service.
Yep.
Spend a little more money. What are we doing?
So now we're spending money.
Yeah, now we're spending money.
So now you're spending money on different services and modalities in the biohacking world. You know, you're getting memberships at some of these biohacking clinics. You know, you're going into the hyperbaric chamber. You're doing the infrared sauna. You're building out a wellness side of your house.
I have that.
You got the cold plunge. You got the infrared sauna.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do the cold plunge. I have at my house. I have I have the EWAT training set up.
Oh, nice.
I have an oxygen machine. I have the giant oxygen bag on the wall.
Right.
So I have that. I have an infrared sauna. I have the red light panels.
Awesome.
So I have a couple of those. I have the grounding mat. My wife is a huge grounder.
The PEMF.
PMF, yes, yeah. Matt, that big one. So we have that. So I have that whole superhuman protocol thing.
I love it.
I have all of that, but I can't do the cold plunge, dude.
Yeah, it's tough.
Bro, everybody's like, well, see if you can like it. Just turn your shower on as cold as it goes and stand there for a minute. I'm like, yeah, good. No, I'm done. No,
listen, I don't like the cold.
Yeah.
I grew up in Wisconsin.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, cold is not my friend. I live in Florida now.
No, I would be the dude that would spend $8,000 on a cold plunge and it would sit there. Like, you know, the people that buy like the exercise machine, it becomes the clothes hanger.
The clothes hanger.
The cold plunge would just be nothing. It'd be like we put beer in it or something. I don't even know.
Well, it's cold already, so you might as well just put the beer in it.
I don't get it, dude. That one, when that whole Winhoff, that dude blew up too, though. It's caused the cold plunge thing, the Winhoff guy. I can't do it. I respect the hell out of people that can.
Yeah.
I do. But are you a cold plunger?
I've done it. I don't have a cold plunge.
You're not a doer. You've done it.
I'm not a doer at that level. I do a lot of other things when it comes to the biohacking world.
What do you do? What's your routine?
So infrared for sure. I have the PEMF. I use a technology called Pulse. All of my supplements is where it's at for me.
Yeah.
What I put into my body. You know, the way I eat. You know, I stay away from 5 different things completely.
What's that? Oh, let's hear that. Oh, stop. That's good. So, see, he glosses over. Like, here's the gold. Let me just gloss over it real quick. What are the 5 things you should stay away from?
So these 5 things, all right, if you haven't done this, do it for 90 days. Challenge yourself to do it for 90 days. Dr. Willix was really big on this, and he wrote about it in all his books. And these 5 things, you will change your health. You will reduce inflammation in your body and things will just change. All right. 5 things: rice, potatoes, bread, pasta, and alcohol. Anything else, you can have it. You can season it up however you want it. Those 5 things you have to avoid.
Brown rice?
Avoid brown rice.
Shoot.
But you can do cauliflower rice. You can do white rice, which is made out of vegetables.
Yeah.
With pasta, you could do chickpea pasta. You could do lentil pasta, right? You can even have pizza made out of either chicken crust or cauliflower crust pizza or chickpea pasta pizza. Bread, you can have sprouted bread, like Ezekiel bread. So it's not like you're just avoiding it completely. But, Dr. Willix would actually say that those 5 things are not even for human consumption. Go back to the caveman days. What do you eat pasta if you can't even cook it? What do you eat rice if you can't even cook it?
I mean, considering we just got back from Rome and I ate at Alfredo's, it's really hard to say no. And listen, I think before you're going to commit to this, you should go to Alfredo's in Rome and eat there because holy shit, it was magical. But no, I'm just kidding. No, you should stay away from pasta. It's terrible. What am I talking about? So far, I got you smoking on a treadmill and eating cheesy pasta in Rome. This is not a good health podcast so far today. Don't listen to me. Listen to the expert. That's why I've got you here. So those 5 things, because all of them spike blood sugar like crazy. Yes,
they do. They all cause inflammation, right? We see. This is the thing with those 5 things. We manipulate things so they can taste good and be edible, right? I could take a sheet of paper and I can go ahead and bread it and season it and fry it, and you'll eat it and you'll say this tastes good. Doesn't mean that it has any nutritional value, and it doesn't mean that it's good.
I mean, are we going tempura? Are you gonna do like what kind of batter are we talking about?
Listen, I'm Dominican, so I'll put a little bit of seasoning, some adobo on it or something.
All right.
Like alcohol. If I gave you straight up alcohol, you probably would stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah, it's gross.
Like we put stuff in it so it tastes good. So, but you remove those 5 things and you'll see your life and your health change completely. 90 days.
Well, that's the 5 things. Well, Sam, dude, if they want to get in touch with you, how do they find you?
So you can either just Google me, Sam Tejada.
Okay.
And all the fun stuff pops up. Or you can find me on social media. Instagram is Sammy, SAMMY _Tejada, TEJADA.
Love it.
Or our company website, which is liquivita.com.
And if they want to buy the book, it's How to Win in Modern Wellness. It's available on Amazon. Was an Amazon #1 bestseller.
Yep.
Dude, well, listen, man, I don't care how successful you are in all the other aspects of your life. If you are not taking care of your health, trust me, you don't want to be the richest guy in the cemetery. Got to get control because you got to do it yourself because ain't nobody coming to help save you. We'll see you next time. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Escaping the Drift. Hope you got a bunch out of it, or at least as much as I did out of it. Anyway, if you want to learn more about the show, you can always go over to escapingthedrift.com. You can join our mailing list. But do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, throw up that 5-star review, give us a share, do something, man. We're here for you. Hopefully you'll be here for us. But anyway, in the meantime, we will see you at the next episode.